Okay, I think you should be able to hear me. We'll see in a second. We'll go from here. Wait for this to change. I think you should be able to hear me. We'll see in a second. We'll go from here. Wait for this to change. I think you should be able to hear me. We'll see in a second. Hey, what's going on, Antoine? I was trying to get this whole screen in here, but it's not letting me do the full page, so I'm going to do the best I can to navigate through here. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I'm going to try to get this kink out real quick. I'm learning technology here, so bear with me. We'll try one more time, and if not, we'll just go with what it's given us. I think we're good here. We'll go with this though. Greetings, Antoine. Greetings, Stacy, Adrian, Mark Martin, and that's it. So I was trying to get the little video of the birds and stuff playing and all of that stuff, but it wasn't quite working out that way because I'm in the middle of multitasking. But welcome everybody to day 16. Friend, I gotta talk by the computer. Welcome to day 16 Friends and Family Fest. Welcome everybody. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. No, Stacy, that's okay. That's something I wanted to try out. It's okay. No, it's all right. Not at all. But today I did want to talk about shopping and stuff. So, which is an important thing there. You know, shopping for produce, getting your stuff, and all of that stuff. So, let's see how this works. Well, oh, it's like doing tutorial here. So my apologies. This technology is like amazing and overwhelming too. But I want to talk a little bit about shopping, looking for your produce, and that stuff, and just give you some ideas and some tips that I've learned, and we'll go from there. And let's start with vegetables. And I'll start with vegetables, and I'll start with the leafy greens, and you know, I guess that those categories. You have your leafy greens and cruciferous, which is like your broccoli, and I guess technically bok choy, cauliflower, and that kind of stuff. Good evening, Stacy. And those things, and then you got your starchy vegetables. I guess yucca, carrots, uh, yams, sweet potatoes, and the tubers, and that and that kind of stuff. Mhm. And then I guess they are leafy greens, but kind of your herbal stuff like your parsley and arugula, and basil and mint and that kind of stuff. So for me, when I'm doing the uh, when I'm doing those things, I'm kind of not negotiable in terms of organic or not organic. Those are just like have tos. It's gotta be that way, and uh, that's it. It's all or nothing as far as that. Good evening, Teresa, because that's the stuff. When it's getting sprayed, it's getting right on the produce. It's not just getting in the ground; it's right on the produce. So you're going to get the maximum amount of chemicals and all of that stuff. So like that, I'll tend to just if it's not organic, don't get that stuff. So that's my first rule. And then when I'm looking at my leafy greens, kale, collards, chard, spinach, romaine, uh, on and on, I want that stuff to be crisp and in a bright green color, not dried out looking. So that's important. I don't shop every day, might be every other day, every 3 days, but I want it to be nice and fresh and all of that stuff for a couple of days. And so I'll get that. Look for it to be crisp. I like to have the stems on it, even though you pay a little extra for the stems. And when I get either that paper bag or plastic bag, when I bring it home, I take some, I have like some distilled water in a spray bottle, but I just take that and I spray it in there to keep it moist so it doesn't dry out, and then put it in the fridge. I seal it up almost airtight and then put it in the fridge. And that keeps it for a few days if I'm going to do it, and especially if I'm juicing. And the stuff like broccoli and cauliflower, that just seems to stay better. So I just keep that wrapped up in a paper bag or plastic bag, whatever it came in. And I look for those to be bright and what do they call that? The florets not to be any brown on it, and just look consistent color. And that's the thing with those. And also kind of know your store too, when they have produce coming out, what days they deliver. Some stores nowadays, they get stuff every day, but some are like Mondays and Thursdays or Saturdays. And try to know your local grocers or farmers when they're getting new stuff so you can get it as fresh as possible. And then in addition, I hope y'all can hear the birds in the background too. I filmed that this morning. So that's that. But with like when you're talking about potatoes and yucca, and I'm not a big potato, if you're going to eat starchy stuff, I'm not big on potatoes, but we'll just include that because it's processed for each person. So, if you got, if you're getting like yams and good evening, Lawrence, we got famine here. Good evening, Cynthia. Got big famine here. So if you're getting stuff like those, you want those to be firm, and look at the pores and stuff like that and make sure those are clean. And clean, like when I mean from mold and stuff like that, and the skin on it. And if it's soft compared to the other one, then it's been there for a while, and it's not going to be ideal. It's not going to be an ideal thing. So that's something to be aware of when you're looking for those, those kind of stuff. And when you're looking at your, what I call like the herbal greens or the herbal leaves, like parsley, basil, mint, and arugula and stuff like that. And you want those to look nice and bright. Those tend to not keep a long time for me. So, when I'm sometimes like I like mint and basil in my smoothies. I don't know why. I just like it sometimes. So I get those, but they don't tend to last long. So depending on where I'm at, I'll, I'll get what I got, and what I can't use, that's it, because they're not generally not that expensive. But also I can take them and uh, dry them out, let them dry in the dehydrator or in the sun, and let them dry out, and just dry them out, and then you can put them in a coffee grinder and grind them out and just use them for herbs, or just keep them whole like that's dried out, and you can make your teas and things like that. So that's what the vegetable stuff. The nuts and seeds, it's a lot of different things. One, you want to get them from a place that's not keeping them for so long, and not keeping them open, when they're sealed, and so they're not oxidized, because they oxidize really quick. And you want to look at the color, like if you're getting like cashews and things. And I try to buy them raw, although the cashews aren't really raw, but because they heat them to get them out. But they have a bright, consistent color, not brown or yellowing on it. If you're getting like the pumpkin seeds, it should be that deep green, not the faded green. That means it's been sitting for a while. So that takes some research, how long they have it, how long the vendor is keeping it. And you want to find fresh sources, and you have to do your homework. Like, a lot of people like pecans, and, you can get those in pecan season, and, and just, get that, keep that. And I keep nuts and seeds when I'm keeping them. I keep them in the refrigerator. So that works better for me, and they last a lot longer. I'm going to say a whole lot, because they oxidize really quick, and I keep them sealed up good, and do that. And the same thing with the dried fruits, like the cranberries and raisins and dates and those things. I often keep them in the freezer, because I'm just using those not so much to eat, but just for flavor if I'm making a smoothie or something like that. So I may have those for a while. So when you get those you really want to get organic, which is not difficult to find. If I'm getting the raisins, I tend to stay away from the Thompson seedless. I'll get like Monaco or flame raisins. There's so many varieties. And organic also, because if they're not organic, it's a good possibility they use sulfur in the drying process to speed that up, which is harmful for us, especially in that form. So it's your dried fruits, you want to get them organic. And I always, for me, and this is just my own, I like the idea of getting things separate. Like, rather than buy trail mix, if you're going to use fruits and nuts, get those things separate so you can make up what's for you at that moment. Because that all of those combinations in that trail mix, you may not want all of those combinations tomorrow or next week or something like that. So, get the nuts and seeds that you like, get the dry fruits you got, and just get them separately, and make your own concoction as it suits you. And for both of those, like I said, refrigerated. Sometimes I keep in the freezer, but definitely refrigerated. They last longer. They don't oxidize, especially with the nuts and seeds. Now, with the fruits, now that's a whole nother animal there. So there's a lot of things. Some fruits, like grapes, let's say, you really kind of have to refrigerate those as soon as you get them. They don't keep well out for a while. But then when you got stuff like apples and oranges, your avocados, your vegetable fruits, tomatoes, those things can sit out. But if they get to where they're really ripe, then it's time to put them in the freezer. Fruits, generally speaking, if I'm getting apples and, I'm looking for apples and pears, I'm looking for crisp apples. The cherries, you got to kind of go by the color in the field, the color for what type it is. What's going on, Lance? And get the best one. But, for me, if I'm getting like a big bag of cherries and they're often expensive, I'm going to take one and eat it and see if it's sweet or tart or whatever flavor I'm looking for. Uh, and basically the hard shell fruits, if you can't get organic, it's okay, but try to go for organic. Thin skin, cherry, the berry family, that kind of stuff, you want to get organic because it's just, you're not going to clean that off of the skin. It just penetrates too easy. So that's something to really, be mindful of. And if you're going seasonal, you can get better prices, so you don't have to try to find watermelon in December if that's not in season where you're at. If it's like, now I guess it's oranges and star fruit and mandarins and, maybe some strawberries, and depending on, if you're getting them, let's say in the States, if you're getting them from California. So you do those things. And so if you're on a budget, stay seasonal and you're going to get better price wise. And I tend to not go into the store shopping for produce hungry. That just doesn't work well. That just doesn't work well for me. So, so for that, don't go in hungry, because that's when you tend to buy things you didn't intend on getting, or don't really take your time. You're not in your, just your spirit, your energy. You're not in your best place as far as that. So that, that's another thing. And it doesn't mean you have to eat before you get there, but if you are hungry, eat, and, and go ahead and do that. So that's another thing there. And backwards, going to stay with the fruits. Oh yeah, good point, Adrian. Yes, you could buy too much there, and you could buy things that you're not supposed to be eating. Stuff to eat in the car on the way home, or eat while you're walking around in the store. Now, certain fruits they're not going to get any sweeter, no matter how long you get them to sit. Like melons and melons, that could be anything in the melon family. That could be watermelon. That could be the honeydew melon, the cantaloupe. That could be the cucumbers and all of those. That that's it. It's not going to get more flavorful. So you want to pick that out when it's ready. With watermelon and cantaloupe and honeydew melon, when I get those, I flip it. Like if I'm not going to eat it for a few days, even a week or two at a time, I turn it and rotate it so that the water doesn't settle on one side. Especially with the watermelon, I've had watermelon lances on it. I have a watermelon week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it tastes like I just got it. So that's the thing there. So the watermelon, it's a couple of things. I like it to be heavy for its size, and so that's a big thing. I'm gonna see if I can switch with me on the screen, possibly. I'll see, but if not, it's okay. I'm in the middle of doing a few things, so no, it's not, because the battery's running low, so that's not going to work out. That just came on, so we'll make do where we're at. But like with I think I was talking about with the melons, when I get the watermelon, I tend to get it where it feels heavy for its size. I mean, watermelon is heavy too, but heavier than you think it would weigh. So I tend to do that. And also, if it has has a little stem sticking out on it from where they cut it from the tree, if it has that, then that should be green, not brown. If it's brown, it's been sitting for a good while. So that's not so ideal. So so that's something else I look after. And also I try to get the watermelons where it has a lot of yellow or brown on one side. And it just means it's been sitting longer growing and it has a better chance of being ripe. But I got a little test I do with a little twig though, and I put the twig on and it kind of turns like a 90 degree. And that's just my little thing. Like it's got energy in it. So if you're able to do that and it doesn't have the it doesn't have it's not windy, you can do that. Let me see here if this will okay, I think it's letting me put the comments here. So on there. Anyway, so that's what melon, cantaloupes and honeydew melon. You know, I want it to be a little soft, but I can usually smell it. My smell is like a wild animal, so I can smell if it's sweet just from just holding it, or especially where that on the top, it's like a little soft spot, and smell that there, and that's good. And then you want to check that too, so it's not moldy or anything like that. You know, orange is a kind of crapshoot. I try to get as orange as possible, but you know, when I travel to other countries, like now I'm in Costa Rica, I get oranges with that's half green or partially green, and they'll sit and they're really sweet and juicy. I try to get not to do seedless, and when I get oranges, the more seeds that they have, for me, that's like the less hybrid and more indigenous it is, and it just seems to be more energizing. For me, the grapes are going to be. I don't really do seed. Not that I won't do seedless, but you know, I'll wait out for seeds. I'm kind of fortunate here. I could get some seeded grapes and make do, you know, make do with that. But I'll look for those. You know, I like them to be like the nice globe, the big round ones, and to be a good size so that it doesn't look like they were picked too early. Good evening, Lily. Good evening, Colleen. And for everybody, this is day 16. Not 60, don't scare you. Day 16 of our 30-day friends and family fast. And we're talking about shopping, getting your produce, and some tips and ideas. And, you know, just some things that I've came across that's helped me. Fun. Yes. Now, I will, even though like grapes and cherries and berries and strawberries, I generally don't do organic. Sometimes I find those globe grapes from Peru when I'm in, especially in Georgia at the cow farmers market, and I'll get them anyway. I'll just take the hit on that one and do that because that's just what I want at that moment. So that's what that. And then the oranges, like I say, they're going to be, you know, red. I like the mandarins if you can find them. Inches. I'm not so much into navel. Those are really hybrid, but still, it's okay then eating M&Ms. You know, so that we'll put it in perspective to where we're at and what we're doing, and not be so hard on ourselves. Like enjoy the progress that we're making. And that's that. You know, I don't know why I didn't want to like do it here at my little spot where I'm at, which would be fine. I could like just show me here chilling in front of my space. I don't know. But actually I was doing some multitasking and I didn't want to get dressed and I didn't want to do none of those other things. But we're gonna go ahead and do it like this anyway. And manage with it. And let me see if I could get this thing up there. I had like the I think I could put, I'm gonna see if I can make a new one while I'm here and put day 16, which I'm sure doesn't matter to anyone else except me. But I'm gonna put it here anyway, see if that works. Okay, that's probably me just enjoying technology. Anyway, where we went to oranges, and then we talked about the grapes. And then apples, I want, and I think I said the apples and pears I want crisp, and those are better for me. I like if I'm juicing them. Uh, when I'm going to eat them, a little softer is better, just for me. And they seem to be a little sweeter that way too. And also a little softer if I'm making applesauce. And when I make applesauce, all I do is just put it in the blender with a little bit of water, or put it in the food processor. Or a lot of times I just put it through the juicer, but don't have the screen on it, and just go through like the same way I make ice cream. And that works out. That works out really good. And then what else we got? That's a base one. The bananas, I try to find them as yellow as possible. And spotted is even better. And I keep them till they get spotted. If I'm trying to get them to ripen a little quicker, I'll put them in a paper bag and put an apple in it, or at least just in a paper bag. And the tips of them release ether, which is their ripening. So that ether gas. So that tends to increase the ripening for those. And then actually same with avocados. Avocados, at least, we're getting them here, so we're not growing them there unless you're like California or Florida. So if you're using the small Haas ones, I get them green with a little brownish dark color, even though we're gonna eat them when they're black, because we're not eating them tree ripened in this situation. We're gonna eat them when they're almost black or dark brown. But if you get them from the produce store like that, they bruise easy, so it's a good chance they're bruised. So it's kind of like you got to get them green and let them sit and ripen, or put them in a paper bag. The bigger green ones, they call, like in Jamaica, they call them the pears. Those you can get, like the bright green is like just picked, although they can get red on the tree. But those, if they're a little darker green and a little softer, then they're ready, and they tend to not bruise as easy. And those are, even though it's a fatty fruit, they're more moist, at least for me. There's a lot more moisture to those, so that's that's good for that. And what other kind of fruits? The tropical fruits are, and I'm fortunate to get a lot of those, but a lot of those don't transport well. So like a nice ripe soursop or guanabana is going to be mushy, but you can't transport that to the States. It's just going to bruise up, stuff like that. The star fruits you want to have as little green as possible, and mostly like the yellow orangey color, and without a lot of brown on it. And doing that, when I get young coconuts, I like them to if they're either the yellow or the red or the orange, to not be the darker color, be the brighter color, because I like them young. And they're going to be fresher, and they're just more refreshing for me. So I'll do that. If you're buying the Thai coconuts where they're already chopped off, then you're going to look at the bottom and make sure it's not brown or pinkish there, because it's kind of fermented, and no brown spots on there. So that's really good. Oh. Okay, so question, Colleen got the grapes is green or purple or the black, or they call black grapes, better, seeds or seedless. Seedless is better. They can have babies, So no, but I mean, it's not hybrid. But as far as, and maybe we can get away from that. Like they're all different. They're varieties. So one is not better. Like grapes are not better than watermelons, and the long watermelons are not better than the round ones. They're different. We're designed to have variety. And if we're having a variety of fresh produce, we're going to be healthy, happy, joyful, and we're going to get all the minerals that we need. So it's not like we're looking for superfood. I think the new thing was like elderberry. Last year was, I think, moringa. No, it was the cherry. Like the elderberry was the concentrated cherry, and then it was moringa, and it's like all the way back from what's that called? It was like a grape juice kind of thing. It was like a big thing. So it's not a magical one. Good evening, Valerie. So it's not a one. So let's, so we don't have to look at things that way in terms of uh, which one is the best. And probably as far as which one is the best is probably the one that your body wants at that time. That would be the best. So, and like when we talk about not going in hungry and if possible, not stressed, and just look at the produce. You could have a list of things you want to get, but before you put your list out, look through the produce section, look at the fruits, look at the vegetables, and see what really uh, appeals to your eyes and what's like really grabbing at you and saying, yeah, you know what, I think I want to have that. Because sometimes it might be different than what's on your list. And if you got kids or grandkids, a lot of times you put them in that produce section and they'll pick out what they're curious about. I know when I have my granddaughter Metzlin, we go in a produce store and my son said he had a hard time with it, and she kind of acts up. Well, that was early. He gets things taken care of. When those things happen, he'll go ahead and handle it. But anyway, when I would take her, we go straight to the produce section and other food for her, in addition to the fruits and stuff and getting coconut. So we go right to the produce section and look, and she would just like lean out the car and she wanted to get some, usually like raspberries or blueberries. And I just get a box, something that didn't have to be weighed. It was just like a box or whatever. Just give that to her and she just eat that the whole time, and I do the rest of the shopping. And she would point at things like, but she didn't want it. Like she was just eating that one thing that she picked out. And so that was, so that's good if you got kids or grandkids or great grandkids, some of us like me are up there. You can have that. So, and you do the same yourself, like just browse through the produce section and see what's feeling right. Because you might go through, you might have, I'm getting spinach, I'm getting chard, and and then you go through and you see the kale looks crisp, and you see they got the Japanese sweet potatoes, and you say, okay, I'm gonna make that soup with the Japanese sweet potatoes and the kale and tomatoes, and so things may come to you while you're there, so be open for that. And the same goes through the other aisles, and I'm not going to go through so much of that because that could be endless, and that's your own choice, and that's like rarely where I go to anymore. Basically, I go in the produce section and then I'm out, unless I'm getting like paper towels, toilet paper, like that kind of stuff. But all those other aisles are not really what I go to. And if you get a habit of just getting most of what you get from that produce section and just having that's going to keep you healthier and less of the packaged stuff. And I know we may not always be just 100% just the produce, but more of that, like make that the biggest portion. And even for people that are not vegan or not vegetarian, if your meat section can be like this on the plate and the other stuff be like this, your greens and other stuff, and then food combining. But that's one of the earlier videos we talked about that. So that's it. And for anybody have questions, feel free to type them in. It doesn't mean I'm going to answer them, but at least you asked it, so that's a start. So with the fruit, it depends. I think we talked about the avocados. We did melons, apples, berries, cherries, and grapes. And like strawberries and blueberries are just visual. You want them to be the bright color. And then you want to look for any soft spots or any mold or anything like that. And those kind of things, get what you could eat. And if you're not going to eat it after a couple of days, rather than wait till it gets brown and then start chopping up and doing different portions of it, put it in the freezer. Put it in the freezer and then do it for later. Now, when I get stuff, now this is just me, like the strawberries, I don't take the leaves off. I keep them on there. If I'm making smoothies, I throw it in there. If I'm not, I just use the leaves to hold them. and eat them. But when I'm making a smoothie with it or some kind of dish, I throw it all in there. It's a leaf, so that's good for that. And so we're gonna go over. We want to find some local grocers, and we can do our Walmarts and Whole Foods and all of that too. But find some local growers, local farmers, and some food co-ops, and try to support them, and and get their schedule when they have produce coming and when they have things. And oftentimes they'll order stuff for you, and you can get it on their regular delivery, and this give you a chance to get things more fresher. So you do that, and organic if possible, with seeds if possible, on your leafy greens and your vegetables, like really organic always, because you're not going to wash it off. And different, I'm not even going to discuss the different washing techniques. You can spray diluted peroxide, and Dr. Bronner's is good for that, and they got a lot of different solutions. Since basically I'm eating a raw vegan and mostly fruit, I don't do a lot of washing the produce. That dirt from the ground and all of those little bacteria, that's good for me. That's how I get my healthy bacteria, my B12, and all of that stuff. So that's just for me, and I'm not really buying from big commercial stores like Whole Foods and Walmarts to get stuff. Not that I want, but that's not like my regular. I'm getting from the farm and whatever they rinsed off when they brought it to market. And a lot of times they don't at the market. They just a little dirt or whatever so on. And so I just knock that off. And that works fine for me. I don't get sick. I'm not telling other people to do that. But I am sharing my own experiences with that. And if you got stuff in your backyard, unless you're spraying it, which you shouldn't have to, just eat it. Like you would if you was out in the country or at camp when we were little. And, we had picked berries and apples. We just ate them right there until we was full. We didn't wash them or anything like that. So, so just kind of go with it with that. So I'm going to get ready to shut it down. I appreciate your joining me and managing with my technical stuff. I'll sort this out for tomorrow because I wanted to just have the scenery of the bird watching on the background, but for whatever reason I couldn't get it to go full screen. But I gave it my best. I don't know exactly what I was why that was, but I'll try it again and see. But it just didn't seem like it wanted to work. So it is what it is. Let's see here. We're gonna try one last time on this. We'll leave it. We're not going to make a big deal about it. We'll just let it be. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just let it be as it is. But just the daredevil in me wants to try it one last time. So I'm going to try one last time. And projects. And see if that does it. Maybe it will. But if not, we'll be okay. We'll live with it. So thanks everybody for joining me. You're welcome, Adrian, and appreciate you all. I'll see you again tomorrow at 6. Yeah, what's tomorrow? Yeah, so Monday through Friday, we're going to do at 6. I think I might have finally got it. Nope, it just won't do the full screen, but whatever. We gave it our best. But Monday through Friday is going to be 6 o'clock, and Saturday and Sundays will be 10 in the morning. So kind of give a little room for everybody with their schedules. So you'll have an amazing rest of the evening, and I will talk to you all in 24 hours. Peace and abundance.